Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Gardener. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So in today's video, we'll be talking about certain things to remember before buying your Agavoides. Now guys, a lot of beginners tend to buy this succulent because obviously this succulent looks really beautiful. It is one of the most beautiful succulents in the family of Echeveria. Now this is a hybrid variety, so it is a delicate variety of succulent. Now the reason why I suggest you to check before you buy the succulent, the things that you need to check is the amount of light that you receive. If you receive good amount of morning direct sunlight and indirect bright afternoon sunlight, then you can purchase this succulent. Now this is something that I'm speaking from my experience. Earlier, I did not have much success with Agavoides. Now all of these Agavoides have been with me for almost 2 years. Some of them have been with me for almost a year. So now I have got a hang of it. Now the issue what happened earlier, I was not aware about this. This is something that I learned the hard way. I accidentally happened to keep my Echeveria Agavoides in shade, and the very next day itself they started to rot even without watering. Now this was not related to dry rot, but it was due to lack of light. I was quite surprised that something like this can even happen. But when I realized that after 4 or 5 times, every time when I kept my Agavoides in shade, they used to rot. And when they used to rot, they used to have a complete crown rot. And that's how I realized that these guys require a lot of light. Now, I'm not quite sure about this because I have never used grow lights. But I came across an article on Instagram where a person he is from America who is growing his succulents indoor, but he also had some issues with Agavoides, growing Agavoides under grow light. Now I'm not quite sure exactly why does that happen. Probably this variety prefers natural sunlight. Maybe that's one of the reason. But if any one of you has success growing them under grow light, please do let me know in the comment section. This would be something very informative. Now, I'm not very sure if I can share the concerned person's information on YouTube because I have never interacted. I was just going through his Instagram account and I seen one of the posts wherein he said that Agavoides are one of the varieties that do not do quite well indoor under grow lights. So for me, it has worked out really well because I do not use grow lights. I have natural sunlight and all of these receive a good amount of morning direct sunlight for 6 hours. And then again, they tend to receive a good amount of indirect bright light. But probably 2 years back or 3 years back, I had a lot of issues with Agavoides. They used to immediately die the next day the moment I keep them in shade. So this is the reason why I say be careful before buying this particular variety, because let's say that you are from a place which is very warm, or let's say that it's very hot in the location that you live, or if you live in a location where the temperatures drop below 0 degrees Celsius during the winters and you have to get your succulents indoor, then probably this is not one of the variety that would work out really well to grow indoor. So places where the temperatures rise really high, you know what's going to happen. You might have to move your succulents to a cooler area, to a shaded area. Probably this particular variety might not do quite well in a shaded area, so you have to be very, very careful. Now the location where I had placed my Agavoides earlier, it was not a completely shaded area, it was partial shade, but still a lot of my Agavoides happened to rot. And this was without watering. The place was cooler because there was shade. The place was cooler. It was not like there was not much air circulation, because all the other Echeverias were doing quite well. Other succulents were also doing quite well. But only the Agavoides varieties were getting rotted. So if you belong to a place wherein the temperatures get really hot, now Agavoides are hybrids. They cannot handle really high temperature. So you have to ensure that you set up a place like that, or if you are not able to set up a place like this, then please avoid getting Agavoides, because trust me guys, Agavoides are very expensive, and if they happen to die, it's gonna be a total heartbreak. And a lot of people have killed Agavoides because I keep getting a lot of messages, especially people who are from places which is very warm and humid. because this particular variety does not like too much of humidity. Again, warm and humid is not a very good condition for a lot of hybrids, especially for Agavoides. But if any one of you has success, please let me know in the comment section. So it will be something new to learn for me as well as others. Now guys, talking about watering, I would suggest if you underwater this particular variety, it's much better. Do not overwater this succulent. Do not drop water on the succulent leaves. Otherwise, as you can see over here, the tips of the Agavoides tend to get burnt if the water stays on the leaves. If you have accidentally dropped water on the succulent, then ensure that you use a succulent blower and blow off the excess water. Now, when you tend to see your Agavoides is getting wide, which means when you tend to see that all of the leaves have opened up completely, this indicates that your Echeveria Agavoides has been getting in a lot of water. So the moment you see that if all the leaves are open, ensure that you cut down on your watering. Wait for the leaves to close inwards. Like as you can see over here, majority of my Echeveria Agavoides have their leaves closed inwards because I tend to underwater them. Underwatering is much better compared to overwatering, but again, do not do excess underwatering, otherwise you might face dry rot. Now guys, this is the reason why I said you have to be extremely careful. If you are sure that you tend to receive a good amount of morning direct sunlight, your temperatures are not very warm in your city, then you can go ahead and get this succulent, and it does absolutely fine because it belongs to the Echeveria variety. Summers are the season when it tends to grow. During winters, they tend to go dormant. So in case if you're planning to add any kind of fertilizers, you can do it during the summer season, but please do not put in excess nutrients into the soil. They do not like excess nutrients. You can add nutrients or liquid fertilizers probably once a month during the summer season. If you already have nutrients in your soil, please do not add excess nutrients. Please do not add any more nutrients to the soil. A lot of people tend to use vermicompost. If you already have vermicompost in your pots, in your soil, please do not use any other type of fertilizers, because if there is excess nutrients in the soil, your Agavoides will become weaker. Usually these varieties do not get affected with pest. You won't find much mealybugs. It's a very rare scenario. Most of the time this succulent tends to get rotted either because of overwatering or because of too much of heat. Ensure you have your soil that is very gritty, loose, porous, well draining. Should not retain a lot of moisture because they do not like a lot of moisture in the soil. If you belong to a place wherein it rains a lot, ensure that you do not keep them out in the rain. Otherwise, again, it will get rotted. So basically, the things that you need to remember is you need to have a good amount of natural sunlight. Probably 6 hours morning direct sunlight. Now, I usually tend to keep them out in sun until 11:30 a.m. During the summers, my temperatures they go up to 35 to 36 degrees Celsius, and till now they have survived. They haven't got affected with the heat. But if you are from a place that is very hot and humid, I would advise you to please avoid this variety. But again, it depends upon you. If you want to still go ahead and get this variety, you can definitely get it, because this, I'm just saying this from my experience, because I keep talking to a lot of people from different places, and what I have noticed or what I have seen is a lot of people from coastal areas wherein their temperatures are really high during summers and the climate is very humid. I have seen them because they keep sending me pictures, and they keep cutting the stem because every now and then the stem starts to rot, probably because of too much of heat, or probably they are not getting good amount of sunlight. Again, they must be trying to provide a lot of sunlight, because it's too hot and they have no other option but to move the succulent to shade, and the moment they shift it to the shade, that's when the issue starts. So it's up to you. If you still want to go ahead and buy this particular variety of succulent, you can definitely do it. There is no harm in trying. Probably you might turn out to be lucky, but this information what I'm providing is from the experience and what I have heard from other people, usually people from cities wherein the temperatures are really high, especially during the summers. And for people who also tend to experience frost, you cannot keep your Echeverias out in snow. None of the varieties of Echeveria are frost hardy. They have a lot of water in the leaves. They will get freezed and the succulent will die. So all I can say is just give it a thought. Ensure that you have the right conditions in order to grow these varieties, because guys, it makes no sense after buying the plant and then you realize that you do not have the right setup or you do not have the right growing conditions, and then your succulent starts to suffer and you start feeling really bad for the succulent, because once you buy the succulent and if the conditions are not right, it's very difficult to handle a succulent. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep propagating.